Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Lakers Lens podcast, giving you a deeper dive look into everything Lakers. This is episode 2, week 2. I'm here with my co-host, Max.
What's up, everybody? I'm excited.
Yep.
I'm excited for our second official one here. We're getting this rolling, and I'm excited.
Yep, so we got a little logo and everything built up. We're on YouTube right now. We'll be on Spotify for this week. We'll start working on the promotion aspect of everything. Try and get some more viewership. We got like 15 views on the first one. That's not bad for a random
this is out of nowhere.
podcast out of nowhere.
Follow us on Twitter at Lens Lakers, LENS, and then Lakers. And also on Instagram at Lakers Lens Podcast.
Yeah. So we're going to ramp up the posts and stuff, and I'll start posting content, videos, clips, and highlights of stuff that we like. Max is kind of running the Twitter. I'm kind of doing the Instagram. But yeah, make sure you follow all those in the YouTube channel. But yeah, let's dive right into it, Max. You were spot on with your prediction.
Yep.
For the games this week. You said we might struggle with the Trailblazers, and we sure did. And we beat the Spurs twice, and we beat the Grizzlies yesterday. Recording this on Monday. So let's start with last Monday, the 28th. Trailblazers 115, Lakers 107. What did you see, Max?
So first I just want to say I'm kind of glad that we got some time to cool down a little bit after that game, because I was absolutely heated, and I know all Laker fans out there were as well. So it was nice that we got, a few more wins under our belt, and I feel a lot better now than I did on, when was it again? You just said it? Monday, so yeah. That game was very frustrating because we should have won that game easily. And I don't know what AD was on during that game, but he was not there at all mentally. Well,
let me just throw this out there. AD 13 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Not really.
That's not enough. We need more scoring
from him.
Yeah, I mean, we just need more scoring. I mean, he can't be scoring 13 in a game. We need at least 20 from him a night. I mean, he's our future. He's our star. I mean, it's like that game was just frustrating to watch. The Blazers always give us issues. It just seems, why does it always seem like when we play the Blazers, Lillard or McCollum, like they just go off, dude? It's just like, it's like, can they just have an off night one? Or like one of them just, or both of them, I mean, just have an off night? I mean, it's frustrating. But, kind of what I will keep touching back on throughout when we go through all the games that I've really noticed with this team is that they're coasting through the start of the season. They're not playing 100%. You can just tell by their body language and even just, within the game, they're taking possessions off. Defensively, too. I mean, a lot of defensive breakdowns. I think that's a little deeper than just taking it off. I think the defensive issues is just, we have some flaws on defense we'll get into later, but you can just really tell with this team that they're just taking plays off, and they're really just kind of going through the motions at times, which can be very frustrating. Yeah, so that's kind of my
I wanted to note that
thoughts.
We did talk about last week that the Blazers might have some sort of revenge narrative from the playoffs, where they might, come out a little bit hotter than usual because they're upset or whatever. But yeah, like you said, Lillard 31, 5 and 4. McCollum, like you said, they just trade off whenever they want, or they both go off. But McCollum had a lighter night, 20, 11 and 3. But Gary Trent Jr.
Oh, that was the story.
in 3.
Yep.
I
That
think
was
he made
absurd,
what 6 threes?
6
or something
threes, yeah.
Like that?
Ridiculous, man. Just ridiculous. It's so annoying, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
I mean, open your eyes, dude. That guy. Yeah. Come on, he's a solid player, but he's not going to be doing that every night. I mean, he just got extremely hot, and it just sucks. It was unfortunate. It was good. I mean, you saw the next day they played the Clippers, and they were just horrendous. I watched that game. Dude, it wasn't even that the Clippers played. They missed every shot. Like Gary Trent. I mean, it's just. Yeah, I think that was what was frustrating to me. Gary Trent went off. Lillard, had a 31. That was pretty frustrating as well. But I mean, it was more. Overall, we couldn't get it. We couldn't buy a basket towards the end, and we were right there. I mean, we easily could have won that game, and we didn't even play that well. So, and I think at first I was really frustrated with the game, and kind of like looking at the big picture and seeing how we, the next few games went. I felt a little less frustrated because I mean, you look at that game. How much did we lose by? Do you have 8? Okay. Well, we were right in that game, and we could have easily won that game. I mean, you give 10 more points, we win the game. So,
yeah.
I'm not as worried.
I think that's one of the things that Portland does is they'll play a game like this where, Lillard and one other guy just fill it up, and there's really nothing you can do. I mean, it's like they're either going to be really good or really bad. And they're obviously bad on defense. Like, we all know that. Because in the playoffs, we just ran them out of the gym. Mm-hmm. But in this one, they just filled it up, and we couldn't get past it. So
even the bubble last year when we played them, remember the first game, Lillard went off. He was dancing on the floor, laughing, whatever. Everyone's like, "Oh, the Blazers are for real." We gentlemen swept them. And it's like, it's just they came back to reality. They're a streaky team, but for some reason, regular season, they always show up against us. And that's what we're going to be against, man. Teams want to show up against us. They're going to give our A game, and that's what comes with being the best. So,
definitely. We can chalk it up, I think, to just one of those weird situations where the Lakers are going to come out slow. And I noticed that, like, when the Lakers win a couple games in a row, it's like that third game or fourth game. Mm-hmm. It's like they always, they'll win 3 in a row, they'll lose 1. 3 in a row, 2 in a row, lose 1.
They usually don't win back-to-back losses, though, which is good. Yeah,
exactly.
But they always, you're right, yeah.
It seems like there's like some energy thing where like they kind of slow down, then they like get lazy, and then they get like a fire under their butt, and then they just come out the next day and smack the next team. Which brings me to our second game on 12:30. We took the road trip to San Antonio for a back-to-back with the Spurs. 12:30. Final score 121 Lakers, 107 Spurs. Kind of what I just said. Really bounced back strong. What did you think?
Yeah, so I think, again, kind of something to take away with all these games, what I touched on earlier. There's been a lot of defensive breakdowns. And it's hard to watch, but I think it's just part of the growing pains with a lot of these new faces. Defense is 100% team oriented. You need to communicate. You need to know where to be, and then your defensive scheme changes, and every game. But at the same time, just your defensive rotations, a lot of that comes with time, and people don't realize that. They think that you can just come out and play good defense, but. Another example, THT has had a lot of defensive breakdowns. He's had some really positives on the defensive end, but kind of going back to that Blazer game, Gary Trent, he got lost on a couple plays that let Gary Trent wide open for threes. And I've noticed that not only with him, Gasol's gotten lost a couple times. And even Gasol's like a veteran, and I think it's just once again, I think these guys are just kind of settling in, figuring things out when it comes to chemistry on the, not only, I think offense, we're just so talented we're going to score. I think it's really the defensive chemistry. Look at last year in the bubble, man. When we got it locked down, I mean, when we were locked in, we were unstoppable defensively, even in the regular season.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to come with the time. I think we do have some defensive flaws, but specifically to go, not to get off track here, but with the Spurs game specifically, I do have a few notes here I want to touch on. There was this one really cool play that is just to show, again, how tremendous of a player LeBron is. And, we will be talking about LeBron and AD this whole year because these guys are on just a different level, right? So there's this play where Markieff fouled DeRozan, and I believe it wasn't really a good call. It was kind of a bad call. Markieff was fired up, right? He was pissed off. LeBron saw that, and he took advantage of that. Next play, LeBron, he brought the ball down, and he ran a play for Markieff. He could tell Markieff was pissed, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to use this to our advantage. Let's get him the ball. Let's get him a bucket here. And I think, I can't remember exactly what, I think it was just like a seal down low or something, or like a back screen, and Markieff sealed. LeBron fed him. Markieff scored. And it's just like, it's one of those things, it's like, that's a leader. That he's just such a leader. He knows his personnel. He knows his teammates. He knows Markieff's the type of guy, he's going to get frustrated at times. And he plays good when he's mad. And LeBron knew that. And he's like, you know what, let's, sorry, you screwed up, or, ref screwed you on this end. Let's get you some offense to boost your confidence on the offense end and try to get you going. I just noticed those little things, and I know it's a little thing and it's not a big deal. But that's why LeBron's so successful. That's why you see him in the championship, in the finals every year. It's because the guy is a team player. And I don't know. I just really wanted to point that out because we're so lucky to have a guy like that in our team that can make everyone else around him better.
Yeah. I did notice stuff like that. I thought that on a more physical level, the ball movement was a little bit tighter this game. And moving without the ball. I saw a lot of back cuts. I saw Kuzma just running around the floor, pass, screen away, just cut through. I saw a lot of that, and it led to a lot of open shots, it seemed like. Speaking of open shots, this is kind of funny. We were texting, I think it was in the Trailblazers game. I said something like, give all of Wesley Matthews minutes to
we gotta talk about that. You gotta talk about that.
Okay, I have
your
a
Wes
point
Matthews
on it,
slander.
I know, so Wes Matthews' stat line, 18 points. I think he hit 5 threes.
He was huge for us that game. Oh my gosh.
But okay, here's my point: is you look through the rest of these games. Game 1, 2 points. Game 2, 18 points.
He started
3,
slow, man.
0 points. 0 points. But he did have 14 against Memphis. It's just the consistency that kills me.
Yeah, no.
And like I said before, if you're gonna be a 3-point shooter, you just have to knock him.
Because that's how Kuzma is, and that's why Laker fans, the majority of Laker fans, just literally Kuzma drives us insane. It's the inconsistency, and I think. We just want to and Danny Green too. It's we just want a shooter that's just going to be consistent. Can you just, when you get that open three, just knock it down, man? I mean, it's all you're there to do. So that was really
that's
nice.
what I was thinking is when he had that 0 point game, I was thinking, if you're going to be out there, eating up 25 minutes, I'd rather, and score 0 points, I'd rather see Horton Tucker out there.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I just think it just took him a little time to get going. Remember, it's a brand new team. I think, and that's another thing with these games is let's not panic. Let's not look into this too deep. Let's not overanalyze these games because it's the beginning of the season, short off season, COVID. It's a weird year. There's all these weird blowouts. I think it's a small sample size.
Yeah, for sure.
And we got a long way to go.
But at the same time, you think about players like AD, like you said, it's not good. He can't be scoring 13 points.
No.
He did pick it up in the first Spurs game. He had 23 and 8, which is better. LeBron had a good game, 26, 8 and 5. Mm-hmm. Schroeder 21, 4 and 4, looked really nice. And then you got your Harrell numbers. He's gonna get 10 and 9. Like that's exactly kind of what I want from him. Is just eat up the glass.
Even more than that. I mean, more points than that. I'm expecting more than 10 though.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
6 man of the year. I mean, we need closer to 20. I want him to come in and just. I want to get him in those situations where he's maybe not playing the best. Like, let's run more for him. Let's get him more looks offensively. But yeah, I also added here, just about LeBron again, just to jump back to LeBron, that game, you just said his stat line. He has been probably the most consistent. I mean, has he had a bad game this year? Maybe one or two where he didn't play the first game. I don't think he played that well, but
yeah, he never does in the first game.
But he never does. But like, I mean, the way he was facilitating this offense in this first Spurs game, I mean, it was just his patience during fast breaks. It's just like the guy, I just get so amazed. He always makes the right basketball decision. It's like, that is so valuable to have a guy like that, So, sorry, I just want to touch on LeBron again. He's the most valuable player in this team, over AD, if LeBron keeps playing like this.
Yeah, well, I have to acknowledge, I don't have the percentages here, but it seems like he's just making every three. Like
he's been shooting.
Seems like he's hitting. Yeah,
pretty well.
I'm gonna try and find his percentages, but like how in the past I've criticized him for for settling, and settling for LeBron is different than other players because he can literally get fouled every single time.
Yeah. He still settles occasionally, but
yeah, he's shooting almost 47% from the field.
How about for three?
For three, he's shooting 39%, which
that's
is
not bad.
Pretty
good. That's really good
for LeBron.
Wow. Yeah, for LeBron, he's not even that's not even what he's out there to really do. I mean, hit a couple threes a game, but
yeah, this is like you said, a small sample size, but it's his best 3-point shooting season since 2012. So
wow, that's great to hear.
It just seems like he is making the right decisions, I think. And I know he's old, so like obviously the older you get, you're gonna shoot more instead of like putting your body on the line. But I notice he still does it. I mean, he'll attack the rim. He's getting like and one dunks, just don't want him to get beat up.
And I think again, like I said, we're gonna keep touching on this. About kind of pacing. You can tell they're pacing themselves. It's smart if you really think about it. There's 72 games this year. They want to be healthy come postseason, right? And AD, I think sometimes, as a player, you can tell if there's a loose ball. Sometimes you want to hold back because you just have an instinct that if I go for this ball, maybe there's a ton of people around and I could really fall and hurt myself. Is it really worth trying to go for that? I'll go for that in the postseason. I think AD is doing that. And it's a little frustrating with AD just because I'm more okay with LeBron doing that than AD. I mean, hey, don't overdo it. Don't get yourself hurt because AD gets these little nagging injuries. But AD's in his prime,
too,
man.
All the time.
Yeah, I know, but he does. But
it's
AD,
weird.
man, just be more. I get it. Like he's more of a finesse player, and he's settling for outside shots, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I just need a little more, man. Like I need a little more aggression from him.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
I mean, I totally understand what you're saying. And I think any given night, if he wants to, he can go get 40. And LeBron can have 15 assists if he wants. But that brings us to our next game, where he did play a lot better. But a lot of it was mid-range and like lobs and little like easy stuff, not like a bunch of power moves on the block. But
stat line?
Lakers 109, Spurs 103. A bit of a tighter game, lower scoring, but AD had 34 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. And I remember you saying that's kind of like what you expected from him. We were texting.
Yep.
And then a routine night from LeBron, 26, 11, and 10.
Just unbelievable.
Seems like he almost sneaks in triple doubles, no problem.
Like it's nothing. Like, unreal.
Yeah, Kuzma had a decent game. He's always hovering right around like 11 to 15 points, maybe less, 9 to 15.
Can I go on a rant about
Kuzma? Yeah, let me just say one thing.
Yeah, whenever you finish that. I have stuff to say about Kuzma, man.
I forget if it was the last game of last week, whatever the game that was, where he just hit a bunch of threes, like in a row.
And then he'll vanish, dude. And he just vanishes.
Well, the
typical Kuzma.
And he just feels like he can do the same exact thing he did last game, and he just doesn't know what to do. Like, he just feels... Go ahead. I'll let you talk about it.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, he doesn't know what to do. He just looks so, like, hesitant sometimes. Like, okay. Let me take this back. At times, he looks hesitant, and at other times, he just looks like the most confident guy. He looks like Kobe. It's so frustrating with him, dude. Like, I have like given that guy so many chances, and it's not only inconsistency game to game where like he'll have a really good game and then a really bad game. It's inconsistency within the game. Like that one game, was that the Spurs game or whatever. Regardless, he came out. No, this was last game. He just hits like 3 threes straight. And then the guy just, like, doesn't know. Like, okay, this is what happens. He hits those threes. Teams are going to adjust to you. They're going to close out harder. They're going to, once you're hitting those shots because you're hot. You need to adjust your game as it goes. You can't just, you can't be one-dimensional. And this guy has drove me crazy. And I'm sorry as a Laker fan. He gets so much hate because he has had opportunity after opportunity. And I will give you 100%, he's playing with AD and LeBron, and it's a hard position to be in. He plays better when one of those guys is out. Look at it, it's on the record. He always plays better when one of those guys is out. I want that guy. I want him to just play like he's on that old Lakers team. Just forget about it, dude. If you take a couple bad shots even, adjust. Do something else. Like, there's been times where he has done that, and I've seen it, and I'm like, oh, great. Like, he did something on the defense end, or he did some dirty work there. But it's like, dude, like, I see that, like, just a small little bit from a game, and then it's like, where did that go the rest of the game? Other times, he's just out there. Yeah. Like, the guy has so much talent, and it bothers me because I think a lot of it is distractions in LA. And, when you have that much inconsistency, that shows me it's your work ethic at that point. Like, I truly think he has a lack of work ethic. And I don't want to, make any assumptions, but it's like, we've had year after year, dude. And it's, like, it's the same thing, dude. It's the same thing every year.
I want to acknowledge what you said about the old team, because I think for him, like, he might not have been expecting such a dramatic change in the team. Like, maybe he knew LeBron was coming, but I think part of the reason he played so well in that Lonzo season was that there was no one. There was literally no one it was only him and Lonzo. Like, that was our team.
Yeah.
And he had the green light completely. Like, no one was telling him not to shoot the ball. Like, no one cared. Like, we were gonna lose anyway, so you might as well just develop your young players. And then LeBron shows up. He gets a little hesitant. He thinks he's still the man, but he's clearly not. Definitely can't play the same way he did a couple seasons ago. And then AD shows up, and it's like, well, now I'm maybe the third guy. Like, I don't, you know, like, he doesn't. His role
now
is
he's
just,
not his Schroeder and Harrell. He's the fifth. I don't even think he's the fifth guy, as brutal as that sounds. But, you know, it's
well, I think
mental
that affects
with him.
him.
Yeah, no, it does.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's all mental with him. It's all mental. He has the skill. You know, there's so many plays I just like to watch him just in a offensive possession or even defensive, but let's just say offense. I watch him sometimes, and it's like he'll get the ball, and it's like it's just that, I know we keep saying the word hesitation, but it's just that like hesitation of like, wait, no, and then he'll just like give it back to LeBron. Dude, LeBron gave you the ball and he's standing there. LeBron wants you to like just drive. Make something happen, dude. Like, do what you do best. Cut without the ball. Like, just do something. Stop thinking about it so much and taking that like basketball is all like about rhythm and if you make that 1 second where you just don't go with your instinct, you screw up the whole possession for yourself. And there's been possession after possession like that. I remember when he got it at the top of the key, there was like 4 seconds on the shot clock. The guy was guarding you super close. Just take a drop step, one dribble, pull up, dude. Like, come on. You got it. You got to know mental, know the shot clock. And he didn't. I think he passed it up. Like, he thought about it, and then he stopped, and then he passed it up. And then I don't know what happened. But it's like, those little things, man, that comes with time, and he's gotten time. So,
yeah, I think Schroeder's a good opposite of that.
Yeah, he doesn't
think.
You were
talking about
just plays, man.
Yeah, you were talking about
just
thinking.
Plays.
No, exactly. Yeah. He just plays the game, and he makes mistakes, but it's like, at least he tried, you know?
Totally.
And I think it reflects in his scoring.
Yeah, and Kuzma will like be the type of person to like make a mistake and then like be scared the next possession. It's like, dude, I want to see you turn it over, next possession, get the ball, drive to the hoop, and dunk in someone's face. I haven't seen that from Kuzma since the Lonzo time, like years, dude. Like, so
he used to poster guys.
Yeah, man. Like, what happened, dude? Like, I don't know. And you're gonna take a backseat to LeBron and AD. You're going to. You're not. I'm not asking this guy, like, guys. And when I talk about this about Kuzma, I'm not asking him to drop 30 a game. He's not gonna do that. It's just not gonna happen. Yeah. But he can do a lot better than he's doing right now. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah.
On Kuzma.
Well, we can definitely move on to the next game.
Can I actually are we going to the Grizzlies? Can I touch a few more notes here on the Spurs?
Yeah, of course.
Or are we gonna?
No. Go ahead.
You're gonna go into it. Okay.
Johnson 26-10.
It always seems like some random. We always joke about this. I feel like Laker fans like always some guy like Gary Trent, like some guy just goes off against us. Why does it always happen, dude? It's so weird. Well, I just wanted to touch.
I think the.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say that it just seems like a guy like Keldon Johnson, like a second year, is like, oh, I get to play against LeBron and AD. Let me just go off and try my hardest while all these other guys like DeRozan and like Rudy Gay, they're like used to it or whatever. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I wanted to just touch here on the couple notes here on the second Spurs game. THT, so there was a couple defensive possessions where his hands were all over the place and he was getting deflections causing havoc. I love that about him, and I think that's a part of his game that's really going to help us. He's a 7-foot wingspan, right? And he's 6'4"?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Defensively, there's a lot of plays that he gets lost and he misses the rotations, but that's gonna come as he gets older. That's just youth and learning the speed of the NBA. It's so fast. But man, I saw some good things in that Spurs game where he was just getting his hands in and just hitting the ball down on guys, getting deflections, like using his length. That is so like it's such an underrated part of basketball, you know. And I saw that from him, and that made me so excited for the future with him. I also wanted to just add here on a negative note, I saw a lot of sloppiness and carelessness with the basketball. Another thing we should probably talk about is the turnovers. We've had far too many turnovers. Again, I know it's the beginning of the season. We didn't have a preseason really much. I get it, but there are just some careless turnovers, dude. We would have won this game handedly if we just don't turn the ball over. You know, so I think that was frustrating me, just again, I already mentioned it, but a lot of defensive breakdowns, a lot of laziness. Even Marc Gasol, dude, like it just looks, man. I mean, the guy takes off possessions, dude. It's just so lazy, man. It drives me insane, dude.
Well, I was gonna ask you, like, are you okay with what they're doing? Kind of like how Zubac was for the Clippers with Harrell. And I guess Gasol was with like Ibaka in Toronto. Like just kind of like a placeholder for like the first 5 minutes. Like, is that okay with you? I mean, he had 0, 8, and 3 in 20 minutes.
So I'm okay with it until it starts really becoming an issue defensively. I think offensively it's fine. I like that he can spread the floor. I like how our offense, we can move the ball so much better with him. He outlets the ball really well. His passing's phenomenal. It gives us another dimension to our offense that's really fun to watch and really going to help us down the stretch. But also, he kills us defensively. There's no rim protection. Guys are getting lost. Because we're having to help because Gasol can't stick with a guy and there's open players. So I'm a little worried about that, but I don't mind it for now. Let's see how it plays out. I think these guys are just so good. Like, we're so good. Like LeBron, AD, that like we can turn it up. I think you mentioned this earlier. We can really turn it up whenever we want to. We can, like defensively, like we can. And, you know, speaking of that, I want to touch on Schroeder's defense on DeRozan in that game. Mm-hmm. Dude, he closed that game out for us defensively. Yeah. Schroeder, has he impressed you defensively? Because for me, I was expecting him like as a solid defender. Dude, he locked up DeRozan, and DeRozan has like 6 inches on him. And he locked him up for a couple of those shots down the stretch, just being feisty and being a little, you know, a menace. And that gets me so excited. And I mean, if he can be a two-way player like that, we need him for guys like Curry. Curry just dropped 62 last night. Yeah. We're going to need Schroeder, you know? So that was all the things I wanted to touch on. But what are your thoughts on Schroeder's defensively?
I love what he's doing. I'm afraid I noticed this last year because I do pay attention to him. I don't know why. Like, I pick random guys that I watch a lot. His tendency is to kind of fizzle out like towards the end of the season, and he'll focus more on offense. Mm-hmm. Like, especially watching the Thunder playoff series. You know, he would drop 25 or whatever, but you wouldn't see much effort on defense. He might like divert it to like a guy like Lou Dort or whatever, or like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, just not really trying.
He turns it on and off.
But I think he has something feels like he has something to prove with us, which is good and bad. Like, he's turning it up, but I'm afraid that it could go away potentially. So
like when he gets his contract or something, you think maybe? When he gets that security?
I'm not going to look that deep into it, but it's possible. But I think he'll step it up. I hope that once, you know, Caruso comes back, it's not one of those things where it's like, well, I don't have to play defense because AC is going to come in and play defense for me, sort of thing. Yeah. And he can just score. But I think LeBron and those guys like really take pride in defense, like for the other players. So I don't think it'll be an issue, but I'm really impressed with how he's playing. Like, kind of exceeded my first game expectations for sure.
Yeah, and he's 27 years old too. Like, I think that's what's exciting about him is I think he could really turn into something greater than he even is currently. And taking that next step is taking that next step defensively as well, like you were saying. You know, not turning it off and on, but kind of being a steady, solid on-ball defender that we lost when we lost Avery Bradley. And I think, you know, Caruso, we've missed Caruso a lot, and that's something I've personally missed a lot. Just his again, that Blazers game, Vogel could have put Caruso on Gary Trent maybe for, you know, a possession or whatever, or put him on Lillard. Lillard had 31 that game. We missed that game. Not to go back, but I don't know. I'm excited about Caruso and Schroeder. I think both those guys can really get after it defensively, and that's going to make up for the loss of Avery Bradley. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm really excited to see how he develops, Schroeder, as a player overall.
Yeah, no, I think he's. I don't worry about him too much. But let's move on to the game last night. And the score can be a little deceptive, because it was 108-94 Lakers versus Grizzlies. And it wasn't through 3 quarters. It was like a 2 or 3 4-point game. So Lakers really turned it on in the 4th. I'm not gonna lie, I posted on Instagram saying I thought it was gonna be like a routine blowout, like no Ja Morant.
It should have been. No
Lakers.
No Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson. They're 2 best players.
Yeah. So I was a little surprised. I tuned in like in the second quarter. Saw us losing. I was like, what's going on here? But it does. You'll probably want to touch on LeBron in the 4th. But what did you think when you saw that game? Let me just go through some stats real quick. LeBron 22, 8, and 13. Another mediocre, subpar performance from AD, 17 and 9. Wesley Matthews 14. I'm impressed with that. Harrell was really the star of the game, it seemed like, in the first half, in the first 3 quarters. So not huge numbers from us. No one played outstandingly well, but what do you want to touch on first?
Well, since you brought up AD again, settled for a lot of outside shots. And again, repeating it again, but like, I just think it's when you drive to the hoop, you're risking injury, right? If you settle for a shot, it's more of a lazy approach where, I'm, not risking my body. Again, he just has to have a good balance. I'm fine with, him kind of load managing within the game, kind of settling for more outside shots. And I want him to, his mid-range is phenomenal. That's like one of the best parts of his game. He can also destroy people inside. Like, and you saw he started to do it a little more with some of those like jump hooks inside and like, here and there in certain games, but a lot of settling in that Grizzlies game I saw in the first half. And that, he makes a few of those shots. He has a better stat line, but again, just balance it a little better. And I don't know if that's maybe like a Vogel thing with like, we're doing too much isolation with him. Let's try to get him like off the ball. Like let's try to get like mismatches, like down screen, like back screens, down screens, like just mix it up a little bit. It's just a lot. I don't know if you noticed with the Lakers offense, which is fine. Like I'm okay with AD just going 1-on-1, but they kind of just lob to him like late in the shot clock, and LeBron does that too, and it's just it's a little frustrating sometimes. I would like to see a little more motion offense, getting him involved in other ways rather than isolation. But as far as this game, I have a lot of notes, so I'll try to go through it quickly here. I saw KCP when he was in street clothes. He was giving THT pointers. Again, I love that about this team. Everyone's in it for each other. We're all we're all in it together. And I just love that, man. I saw it. It was just And it wasn't even supposed to be, it was like on a timeout or something. And KCB came out and he's like, grabbed THC and he's like, you need to be here on defense. Like, I just love that. He didn't have to do that. He could have just sat on the corner and just chilled, collected his paycheck. So love that. Let's see here. Something that I feel like we've kind of touched on maybe, but establishing ourselves early, we just have not been doing. We did this all last year too, dude. Like, just cruising through the first half. Why can't we just absolutely destroy teams in the first half and have our bench take it away? That game, dude, if we just wouldn't have turned it over so much, LeBron and AD would be sitting. They should have rested that fourth quarter. There's no excuse. The Grizzlies, without Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., this game should have been a blowout. And I'm curious to see tomorrow. I want to see us come out early. We'll talk about that later. But so that's something. I want to establish ourselves early more. Keith needs to make more open threes. It's kind of driving me insane. He's missing way too many threes. It's just, come on, man. Make some threes. Stay late in the gym. No rim protection at all. We touched on it earlier. I'm worried. I've been worried the whole season. Just so sad about Dwight leaving. I think that was a huge miss by Pelinka. I don't know the behind the scenes, but this team would be perfect if we would have just kept Dwight. Would have been perfect. So yeah. I think we're starting to see that a little bit, especially with Harrelin, even getting rebounds. He's just undersized. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So AD needs to be in there helping. Like, that's another thing. Like, we need rebounding. Like, everyone needs to box out fundamentals and help that. That's how we're going to mask that flaw. Or if we sign someone. AD, there was a play, he stayed at the top of the key and just watched the ball go up. And they got like 3 rebounds and then scored. Get your butt down and rebound, dude. Like, there's no excuse for that. I'm sorry. You want to load manage on offense? Fine. You're that good. When you see Harrell having issues, go down and get the rebound. You're the tallest guy on our team. That frustrated me with AD. So I need to see AD rebound more when Harrell's in. When those guys are in together, AD needs to be rebounding. And that might be coaching too. Vogel needs to tell him, I need you to help Harrell rebound. Be in the key more. Don't just stand outside the key. And then Schroeder gets no foul calls. Have you noticed that? He gets no whistles, dude.
He's crafty, though. He is one of those guys that, like, sometimes you can't tell if a bad shot is a foul or just a bad shot.
Yeah,
he does that stuff.
He does kind of
like Lou Williams type stuff.
True, but Lou Williams gets the calls. Why doesn't Schroeder get it? Harden gets everything, dude. These guys are like throwing their bodies into. It's just like, I don't think he's like good enough. I know how stupid this sounds, but like, he's not good enough to get those like star calls. Like Harden does or whatever. But, and then last couple things here. Oh, this was a big one that I wanted to touch on. Marc Gasol, we were talking about him, and I didn't mention this earlier. We were talking about all the things he needs to do, and I like him offensively, his passing. He needs to start consistently hitting that open three. And he needs to start taking that more. Dude, I know you probably don't. I know you maybe disagree with that. You don't want him shooting those. I think he needs to just at least establish it a little more that he can make that. He shot a couple that looked ugly. We need that floor spacing, dude, because if he can't shoot, then that takes away the floor spacing from us. And he's terrible defensively. He's not doing anything for us defensively. All he's really doing is passing and rebounding. I mean, we need that, or it's going to be detrimental.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're talking about like the top of the key, like when it swings back to him.
Not that he has to shoot it a ton, but like he needs to hit that.
He's wide open,
man. Yeah, you're wide open. You got to knock that down. And then couple last things here. Schroeder and AD love when they play together. They have a good little thing working there with that pick and roll. Vogel. Keep using them together, and I know he will, but I really like that action with AD and Schroeder with the high pick and roll. Keep it going with them too. I like it. Something here, I just wanted a stat. I saw this today. LeBron James and Marc Gasol have the best net rating, plus 28.3 of any two players in the league who have played at least 100 minutes together so far this season. Them two together have the highest net rating in the league.
That's
Isn't that crazy, dude?
Bit.
What? That like blew my mind.
I think the reason that happens is because he isn't that threat necessarily. Like he's like just a guy that LeBron uses when he needs something, right? Like if you have Harrell or AD out there instead, they're actually trying to like do something, so that has more air. I really think it's just LeBron, and then Gasol will like throw him the ball at the top of the key, and then LeBron gets it right back. You know, like it's just a way for LeBron to give up the ball and get it right back, or move or cut or get a screen or something.
And Gasol kind of does the dirty work.
Yeah, he's like a tree. He just stands there. He's like a roadblock, and they just feed him, and then he like facilitates. He really is. Like he could like stand at the top of the key and they could drill his feet into the ground and I wouldn't care. Like even if he wasn't on defense, he could just stay on the offense.
I just want to
right there.
I just want to say Matt was not too happy with the Marc Gasol signing when it happened.
Dude, I mean, you just talked about Dwight Howard. Like how much would you rather have Dwight Howard than Marc Gasol right now?
I would like to have both of them. Because I think Gasol brings stuff that Howard didn't bring on offense. Can't space the floor, can't pass like Gasol can do. Just that veteran leadership, I think's huge. But, oh man, I miss Dwight.
I mean, I'm not mad about it. Like,
yeah,
it's like it's not like we traded for a bad player. You know, like
yeah.
If you're gonna get someone, like get someone, but. I just, I don't want to get into the business of stacking our team with older players. Like, I know our team's pretty young. And we had a bit of an issue last year. Like, what were we going to do? And I think, like you said, Pelinka did a really good job this offseason, as good as he could have done. But we see, like, Wesley Matthews, 34 years old. Gasol is sorry because like 45 years old. Anthony Davis
45
30. Dude, Gasol is so old.
He's not old. What are you talking about?
I know, but okay.
Dude, what do you want? Like all rookies here?
No. I'm just saying.
No, I know what you're saying. But we did get Schroeder and Harrell, and that got us a lot younger. So that was nice.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just going to be interesting to see as the season goes on, that flaw of the rim protection, how the buyout market looks, and to see if Pelinka makes a move or in the trade market to try to get a big man. Dwayne Dedmon's still out there. I don't know why no one signed him. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I think Pelinka's kind of just like, let's just wait it out a little bit. Let's not panic, which is the right thing to do. But I think we're going to end up needing someone.
We're also reigning champions, so it's not like we need a huge change.
And we won last year without. Remember, we went small. We didn't even play Dwight. We started Caruso game 6 last year. Like we started. Remember, Keefe was playing over Dwight and McGee. So we can do it, and that's what's so. These guys are this team's so talented. We can do it. I just think you don't want to mess around with lack of rim protection because, again, it can come back to bite you. And yeah, it didn't last year, but there's just so much talent in the league this year, and there's some good big men too. Like, I mean, I can already see it, like the Lakers Suns first round of the playoffs, and his
Ayton.
Oh my god, Ayton, I'm blanking. My gosh, DeAndre Ayton just like goes off because Marc Gasol can't. So I don't know. I want to see how we kind of once again too small of a sample size to really know how.
Yeah. Or this guy Christian Wood on the Rockets.
Oh, dude, we should have got him. He's making the same as Kuzma or something, I think.
This guy's insane. He's averaging 24 and 11 right now.
Dude, why didn't we go after him? Like, we could have probably... That's so frustrating, man. There's a lot of things that were frustrating this offseason, but I can't complain. We got, Harrell and Schroeder, but, man, if we just would have made one more move, dude, we could have been just...
Yeah, he's really, really good, and I want to move forward because I got to go pretty soon. But
Yeah, no worries.
Another 4-game slate this week.
Okay.
We're going to be tired. That's just the facts.
Yep.
Tomorrow, Lakers, Grizzlies. And then for some reason, we play the Spurs again on Thursday.
That's so weird. At home.
And then the Bulls. And then on Sunday, the Rockets. So I want to go back. You're 1-for-1 with your predictions. What are you thinking as far as a record for next week out of 4
the
games?
Game, it's in Memphis again tomorrow, right? Yeah, it's in Memphis.
Yeah.
So Caruso's still out. So Caruso will be back for the home game. So Grizzlies tomorrow. I'm gonna say we're gonna kill them. I think it's gonna be a blowout. I know it's hard to beat a team 2 times in a row, but just watching that game, man, like we beat ourselves. We really did. It's just once again just coasting through. I think they're gonna want to put him out early and then maybe get some extra rest for the starters. So, I'm gonna say a blowout tomorrow. Then as far as next game's the Spurs, that's kind of a weird game. I'm gonna say a win as well. I just think we're a better team than the Spurs. Even if Aldridge plays, you know what? We're gonna figure it out. I think he's gonna hurt us. If Aldridge plays, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be really close. Because once again, that interior defense, we're gonna have issues with him. And then what's the next game?
Bulls and then Rockets. Bulls the next day.
Bulls, give me a break.
Okay.
I know that's your boy Zach.
But they just beat
the Mavs, didn't they? Or they beat someone good. I don't know.
We lose those games though. Sometimes.
Dude, they're so bad though. Like, no. We're not losing that game. I'm sorry. No. You think we're okay? So we'll give you your predictions. So we'll win that game, and then we play the Rockets. We're gonna lose that game. I hate to say it. I hate the Rockets more than really any team besides the Clippers. We're gonna lose that game. Rockets look good.
Yeah,
they look.
I don't think we're ready for a new John Wall.
Christian Wood's gonna eat Gasol alive.
Christian Wood.
Harden's gonna just do his thing. John Wall looks like a stud. Cousins. They have too much. They have Cousins and Wood. It's going to be a long night for the Lakers. I will warn you guys. What are your predictions?
So you think 3-1 again this week?
Yep. We'll win the next 3. Lose. I'm gonna go
2-2. I know.
Whoa.
I honestly think we're gonna lose to the Bulls. I don't know why.
Hey, stick with it, man. Zach LaVine. I can see Zach LaVine dropping 40 on us.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm wrong, but.
So Grizzlies tomorrow win?
Yeah, like you said, I think they're gonna blow them out. Spurs, Lakers. I just think we beat them twice at their place, and now they're coming to Staples. I think we're gonna handle them easily, unless Aldridge is like a wild card. Then we'll see. Bulls. Yeah, I don't want to talk about the Bulls.
Hey, you have a feeling. Maybe, you have a feeling. Back to back, or doubleheader. Back to back. Yeah, that's always tough, right? Because you said we play.
Yep. Thursday,
Spurs
Friday.
Next day. Yeah, so that's always tough.
I do think I have a little bit more faith than you. Not that you don't have faith, but on that Sunday game, I do think our stars step up in the primetime games, typically.
Good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
I think you see a triple-double from LeBron. Okay. You see 30-plus from AD. It comes down to that supporting cast. And I do think we will lose by a small amount on Sunday.
Okay, but you think it'll be close?
I think it'll be closer than 5
Rockets
points.
Are nice, man. I hate to say it, but they're nice. They actually are playing right now. I wonder what the score is, but
really,
yeah, Harden, Wall. they're all back, or Harden's back, and
Yeah,
yeah,
good.
should be fun. But that's my predictions.
All right, we'll see how it goes.
All
But I
right.
want to throw a few things at you before we get out of here.
Okay.
Just some random facts from around the league. You already brought up Curry. That was my first thing.
Best shooter of
He
all
was due.
time. Yeah.
He was due. The Warriors suck. Let's just say that. They're not good.
Kent Bazemore is just atrocious.
But 62 points, 18 for 31 shooting, 8 for 16 from 3. How is that possible?
He's unreal. I watched the highlights last night.
Yeah.
The degree of difficulty on some of his shots is just it's crazy. I just don't even understand it. Like, I don't understand him. Him and Lillard too. I mean, some of these guys' shots, it's just like they make it with ease, man. Like, and it's like it's so hard to do, like the degree of difficulty. But
Yeah.
Curry, man, he's always been one of my favorite players. I know he's hated on a lot. Best shooter of all time. It's not debatable. You can't debate that. The guy's a stud. I mean, the guy's just a stud. And the whole narrative that he needs stars around him, like, dude, come on, man. Look at his team. Like, he's got a young rookie, Wiseman, with him. No Klay Thompson. You know, give them back Klay Thompson and they're a playoff team. You know, so I feel bad for him with the Klay Thompson injury, but
Yeah.
you know, I know he gets a lot of hate, but the guy is just out of this. He's out of this world. He changed the game with his
Yeah.
range. So
I can see, before we move on here, I can see a couple more games like that this season, especially with no one to share the stats with. I think he'll really have like 2 or 3 more 60-point games for sure.
totally.
But before we get out of here, I lost a $50 bet to our friend Pete Fisher back in 2016. I said LaMelo Ball will never play in the NBA. I said
No
that.
way, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just paid him the other day.
Oh.
12:30, December 30th, LaMelo Ball, 22 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 1-1. January 1st, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. 1-2, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. What do you make of these first couple games from LaMelo?
I'm very impressed. I was actually just watching him right now before we got on this podcast. His IQ is like a veteran almost. You know, I don't want to, you know, it's not that he doesn't have room for improvement. He plays completely like a veteran, but some of his decision-making skills are like a guy who's been in the league for 10 years. He just he's very crafty. He can change direction really well. Obviously his passing skills are his best asset. And once he gets that shot a little more comfortable, it seems like he was getting kind of comfortable with the new, you know, the 3-point line being farther back. Or actually, when he played overseas, I don't know if they had the same distance from 3.
I think it's a little bit shorter.
Yeah, and anyways, this guy was hitting half-court shots in, like, middle school. But I'm really impressed with him, honestly. I think he's going to turn into something really special. I truly think he's going to be better than Lonzo. People might get on me for that.
That was my
'cause I know
next
Laker
question.
fans they're very possessive with Lonzo, and you know, that's fine.
I'm
I always
not. You
liked
know that
Lonzo.
I'm not.
Yeah, I know. But a lot of Laker fans are, so I'm sorry if you're listening out there and you're like, Lonzo, you know, he'll never be like Lonzo. Dude, this guy can play, man. This guy can play. He's coming into the league, and he looks way better than Lonzo did when he came into the league. So
More confident.
more confident. He just has a good pace. That's another thing. Has a good pace to his play. Something that Kuzma maybe could learn a little bit from. He plays within himself. He doesn't overthink. You know, yeah, he makes mistakes just like any rookie's going to do. I don't care how good you are. he's going to make mistakes. There's going to be bumps in the road. It's a brand new team, brand new, speed of the game. But from what I've seen, I've been very impressed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, guys, we want to thank you for joining us on another episode of Lakers Lens. Hopefully we gave you a deeper look into everything Lakers. Looking forward to this week. Tomorrow especially. I said 2-2. Max said 3-1. But we both hope we're wrong. We could go for 4-0, but we don't want to jinx it. And let's be realistic. That's another thing. Deeper dive, got to be realistic. So
True.
We'll see. Hopefully we're proven wrong. But make sure to follow us, guys, on all the social medias. Podcast will be out on Spotify tomorrow. Subscribe to YouTube. Follow on Twitter and Instagram. All the links will be in the description. Anything you want to say, Max?
No, just follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I said it at the beginning of the show. But yeah, follow us, please. Give us a chance. We're just starting off here, but we do, like I said, we do have a lot of knowledge. In basketball, we played our whole lives, and we've been around a lot of people that have also had a lot of experience. And I'm sure
pros.
we'll talk about that. Some pros. So I'm sure we'll talk about that in another episode. But please follow us. Hit us up on any social media, any questions, anything at all. Like we're all open, to hearing your thoughts. And we're all in this together. I love Lakers, Laker Nation, and best fan base in the world, and best franchise in the world. I said it.
It's true. All right, guys.
All right.
Take it easy. We'll see you next week. Next Tuesday, we'll be back.